We are finally seeing Capcom Cup 10 come to fruition. We are deep into this season while we still have a few more CPT online premieres coming up to trickle in the last few qualifiers. We have the vast bulk of the players qualified from around the world, especially through the World Warrior program, because all the regional finals are wrapping up. You know, the whole season worth of competing, 5 qualifying events in these regions to earn points to be in that top 8 and those final top 8 players battling it out to be that final top 1 to qualify. And we have a lot of new faces joining us for Capcom Cup from all over the world. So I guess we're gonna go through them. We're gonna break down a little bit about who each player is, who you will be seeing compete for over $1 million in prizing at Capcom Cup. So where do we get started with this, Rob?
Yeah, so we already, of course, on previous episodes, we've already talked about some of the players, but since then, some new players have qualified. Let's start out with Korea, man. Lashar with that Chun-Li, only 23, 24 years old, still a young buck out here and absolutely cooking up. And of course, he now joins NL and representing Korea for the first time. I love it. I love it when someone for the first time qualifies for Capcom Cup, because their opponents don't even know what to expect as much outside of Korea in itself. You can even watch footage, but it's something different going up against that person. So definitely interested to see what he does right there. Now, that's at least 2 Chun-Lis in Capcom Cup. No, 3.
They're racking up right now. So there's Travis Styles, Valmaster, and Lashar. So Lashar rounds out
Cianique too. I want to say
Chun-Lis. Oh, Cianique as well. Yeah, we'll get to him a little bit later. So it looks like 4 so far. So Chun-Li, strongest woman, she's back in business. I'm looking at Europe Northeast right now. Mirkin is back in the cup. Mirkin out of Poland. He played G previously in Street Fighter V. He's rocking the Luke these days, and he qualified out of the regional finals to Phenom. He got second. So Phenom, he's one of those dastardly fellows who won the CPT event but has no shame in trying to keep people out of the World Warrior Regional Finals. And you know, all props to him. The World Warrior Regional Finals had a decent amount of money on the line. So Phenom secured that first place with a 3-2 finish in the final set against Mirkin and secured the cash prize. But second place goes Mirkin. He's in Capcom Cup again, trying to see if he can go a little bit further, make it out of the group stages. So shout out to Mirkin. It's good to see you back in the cup.
Mirkin did his thing at Cup last year too, man. For his first time even being an international competition in general, let alone it being Capcom Cup on a stage that big under that pressure. So definitely excited to see him back. I expect him to be even stronger this time. Moving over to the biggest story, yeah, Mena RD has been the biggest story. This is the most competitive CPT outside of Japan. Of course, talking about US East. Mena RD has officially, finally qualified for Capcom Cup after getting second at EVO, after getting third, I want to say.
He got 4th in CPT Singapore,
in Singapore, and second in
second
France.
Again at CPT France. This wasn't a free path for Mena. He did not win every single qualifier.
And he was in loser side in grand finals against Knuckle-Doo, who looked great.
Not just Knuckle-Doo. No, he dropped in first round to Punk in losers, and then he had to go, this is the run, 3-0 over Idom, 3-1 over Punk in the run back, and then he had to go over Knuckle-Doo, 3-2 to reset, and then 3-2 last game, last round.
Jeez.
And he finally punched his ticket to Capcom Cup. So congratulations, Mena, for pulling that off.
And then we move across the world to look at Asia East. Shout out to Kagami for qualifying with that absolutely ridiculous jury.
He beat Chris Wong. Chris Wong, we saw in 2 grand finals CPT premieres back-to-back. He was in grand finals for Singapore, getting second barely to Gachikun, and then getting the win over Mena RD in CPT France. And so he's back again. You know, like I said, World Warrior Regional Finals, good money, good competitive accolades. He's competing there, and he got the win over Chris Wong. So this is not like he got second due to some fluke. No. Kagami Uma has done his thing. I think, to me, this is one of the biggest players to look out for. If he's qualified out of this region over this field of competitors, I think a lot of the rest of the people in the cup are looking at this guy like, wait, maybe he wasn't on my radar, but he beat all the guys who were on my radar to get here. So look out for Kagami. Let's see what he can do at Capcom Cup.
And then for our next region, we take it over to the Middle East, where I think they have a very special story. So Fandroid, the phenomenal DJ player, he goes and qualifies for Capcom Cup from World Warrior. What was interesting there is we're so used to seeing Angry Bird and Big Bird. But this time, Angry Bird qualifies through EVO at the beginning of the year in the biggest tournament that we've seen in Street Fighter history. So that spot is already out of there. So that leaves the CPT Online open and World Warrior Open. So there was guaranteed to be a new player. And I want to say that Fandroid might have finished first place in the World Warrior standings overall.
Yes.
Yeah, he actually, so he was the most consistent, the highest ranked player there. But in the World Warrior, of course, Big Bird ended up taking first place. But he had already won CPT Online, so Fandroid goes ahead and qualifies.
Moving on to Europe West, and this player, man, it's like he shows up when he needs to, right? Like, this is one of the most electrifying players in Street Fighter, and he's always one of the biggest monkey wrenches in any brackets. I'm talking about, of course, Takamura with his Ken qualifying out of Europe West. He qualified before out of Europe West also last year, and remember, in Capcom Cup last year, he went 5-0 in his group. He was the person who beat IDOM in groups and made IDOM qualify out of groups in losers. I think everyone is always scared of what Takamura is going to bring to the table. You know, he wasn't dominating every single event in this region, but when it's time to qualify, he shows up and gets the job done. Takamura is qualified once again out of Europe West.
Takamura, man, one of the most creative players that we have in the scene. And then, of course, we move over to Central America West, where we had Destroy Gods with a guile taking it over Grand Todokai in Grand Finals. Destroy Gods qualified for Cup. And I want to say this has to be Destroy Gods' first time in Cup. I don't remember seeing him there before.
Yes, it is. Destroy Gods out of Panama, rocking his guile, is going to make his way to Capcom Cup for the first time. So it'll be really interesting to see what he does once he gets there. Moving on to South America East, though, we have a familiar face in the international scene.
Yes,
Shaka 22 with his Dalsum is qualifying out of Argentina. And Shaka 22, I think, has been one of the most consistent players in Argentina, South America East for quite some time. We've seen his Dalsum do work time and time again. So he's finally actually won the big one, the one that really matters to qualify into Capcom Cup. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does once it comes time for Capcom Cup.
And now we're going to go down to Asia South, where C. Anik actually qualifies with that Chun-Li. That Chun-Li is looking insane, man. To me, there's no way you could be a high-level Chun-Li player and not be godlike at the core fundamentals of fighting games. So much respect to C. Anik, and I'm excited to see him in Capcom Cup.
And I'm just excited to see representation from Bangladesh, right? This is really, the World Warrior program is doing its thing and highlighting talent from around the world. So it's really awesome to see a Bangladesh representative going to Capcom Cup. Moving on to the next region, we have Germany's World Warrior, where GG Hannibal has qualified with this Ken. And I remember Hannibal doing a lot of work, actually, in Street Fighter V for quite some time in the earlier seasons. He had a lot of tournament success with his Ken. So it's always good to see, like, the players come back into form, especially in the drop of a new game. So Hannibal has established his dominance once again over the German region, and will be going on to Capcom Cup.
All right, then in South America West, Nero the Boxer qualifies for Capcom Cup once again. Of course, we've seen him do the same thing with the Balrog back in Street Fighter V not long ago, and this time he has spun the block with DJ and 6.
Congratulations, Nero, for finally making it in. Looking forward to seeing what you do on the big stage. And moving on now to Mexico, we have an interesting qualifier here. Solvian G has qualified again for Capcom Cup. He actually was in the previous Capcom Cup for Street Fighter V, but this time he is the lone modern representative in Capcom Cup qualified so far. He plays primarily modern Luke, and so we are going to have some kind of modern representation in Capcom Cup.
And then, of course, we head down to Central America East. Beautiful story, man. Of course, this is crossover qualifying for Capcom Cup. He had such a hard time trying to get visas and whatnot to come over to compete with players like Mena RD and Kaba. So he wasn't able to get his break. So now he goes and qualifies for Capcom Cup, and Lord willing, he is actually going to be here in Los Angeles competing, and he deserves it just as much as anyone, man, if not even more than a lot of players. So shout out to Crossover, one of the most ridiculous players in the region.
He did qualify in 2018. In fact, that was unfortunately the reality of what happened. He wasn't able to attend Capcom Cup 2018 after qualifying, so he's finally had another shot. So hopefully everything works out. We get to see him here in the USA competing and showing the world what he's actually capable of, because he is one of the strongest in the world, bar none. But moving on, South Africa. So South Africa, we actually do have another returning qualifier here. Ren with his Luke is making his way back to Capcom Cup, and this time he gets second to Job EM, because Job EM is just bodying everybody. He's just cooking it up. So he's giving Ren some good training practice right there. But he gets second to someone who's already qualified. Job EM qualified through the CPT online event. So now he's in a more official sense, earned his ticket to the Capcom Cup, so I'm sure he's going to feel a confidence boost in that, and now he gets to actually compete for $1 million. So, Ren, congratulations once again. It was nice meeting you at Capcom Cup last year. Welcome back, and let's see what you can do at Capcom Cup.
Speaking of returning players who was super nice to meet and talk to and everything, we head over to Brazil, where the qualifier is, of course, Juninho Ross. I mean, we interviewed him earlier this year, Brian, and of course we chopped it up with him a lot at Capcom Cup. He actually joins Namikaze, representing Brazil for Capcom Cup. So now, of course, they have a Luke representative and DJ. We've seen how ridiculous Namikaze was. Juninho Ross, ridiculous back in Street Fighter V, doing the same thing now, and I expect great things. I expect big things results-wise, actually, from both of these players at Capcom Cup.
And the final region we have to cover here might be the most hype, and it kind of leads right into our CPT event that we have coming up. Spain, Portugal, World Warrior. They actually held their World Warrior regional finals offline, and the grand finals came down to Samuel with his jury versus Vega Patch's Chun-Li. Vega Patch has been like the signature player out of Spain for many years throughout Street Fighter V's lifespan. He actually qualified in the previous Capcom Cup. Samuel manages to fight off, the comeback from Vega Patch and seal the deal to punch his ticket into Capcom Cup. And the hype from the commentators and the crowd as he qualifies. It's just a beautiful thing. It's a sign of the passion, the excitement that's to come at Capcom Cup for all these players. So I can't wait to see all these players from around the world, every corner of the world possible, coming into one roof for the offline action to compete for the largest prize that we've ever had for Street Fighter. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Bro, just talking about that Spain, Portugal, the hype, the pop off from Samuel, that crowd, it got me hyped up, bro.